Ivan Korbat, the lead expert of Tropa Verde, URBACT lead expert, so an external expert that has been accompanying and working together with all partners of this project that we are somehow concluding or officially concluding with this final event, even if, of course, as we have many sustainable results, I would prefer to say it's a starting point. It's not an end, at least for many of the other partners. I'll be moderating the event today, and I'll also introduce you briefly about Tropa Verde Transfer Network. So as mentioned, we've got the chat. There'll be space for questions and answers. As you have seen, I think all of you have received the program. It is divided into 3 sections. We've got a first section where we'll talk more specifically on really URBACT program and projects with the participation of URBACT Secretariat that will give us a general overview of all the objectives and journey around URBACT, and apart from Tropa Verde as an example of transfer network, we are very happy to welcome today as well Jan Harco Post, who is lead coordinator of another URBACT project. In this case, it's a so-called action planning project, leading it from The Hague. He'll introduce us to their experience, and I know that he's not going to be alone, so we are really going to travel across Europe today, as Giancarlo comes today also with the participation of some of his partners from Oslo and Mechelen in Belgium. So hello to all of them. And in the second part of the session, after a coffee break, we wanted to, as I said, it's a starting point, and in order to keep on being inspired by good practices, we wanted to hear from other practices from some of our partners. So partners from the city of Guimarães in Portugal, and Pavlos Melas in Thessaloniki, Greece, will explain us, showcase us some of their new activities or ongoing activities, linked, of course, to the topic of the event of today, or reduce, reuse, recycle, and circular economy. And in the last session, we're very happy to have a couple of closing guests. First, we'll have a little touch of dance and music from Queen Sofia School of Music from Madrid, where Esther, the project coordinator over there, will explain us a work carried out by some of her students. And finally, we will welcome the Axel Griffon from the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, who is going to talk about some main outcomes of around the urban agenda, partnership, and circular economy. So again, thinking about the future. So welcome everybody. I'll just pass the floor to Eva from Santiago for the official welcome word, and afterwards we will move to Clementine from URBACT Secretariat, who is joining us today.
Thank you, Ivan. Hi everybody. I would like to do just a quick welcome. My name is Eva Curra. I am the European Projects Officer of Santiago de Compostela City Council. Santiago, as you know, is the lead partner of Tropa Verde Transfer Network. On behalf of City Council, I would like to welcome everybody to this final event. There will be interesting presentations in relation to recycling, reusing, and circular economy. Thank you very much to the speakers for collaborating with us in the implementation of this event, and thank you to the audience for attending this online meeting. My colleague Ivan Korbat will moderate the event. Thank you very much and welcome. Ivan, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Eva, for your official opening of the event. And so in order not to delay it anymore, I'll pass the floor to Clémentine Gravier. I'm very happy that Clémentine is joining us today, not only because she represents URBACT Secretariat, but also because she was the first person of URBACT's team who joined us at the very beginning of the project. So we first met in a previous time when people were able to meet physically in Santiago, when we were starting everything, talking about what Tropa Verde was and what were our plans and what we were expecting to do. And so it's very good to have you today in this final conclusion days, Clémentine. I give you the floor.
Yes, thanks a lot, Ivan. Yes, I'm also very happy to be there 2.5 years after we met in Santiago. I'm going to share my screen, so let me know if everything works well.
Yes.
Do you see the presenter view now, or is it fine?
Yes.
Yes,
we see.
Yes, the presenter view.
Okay, so I'm going to do it like that. So like that, is it working?
Yeah, we see your text here.
So you don't see the presentation?
No, we saw it with the text. But before we saw the full screen presentation.
Let me try again. I'm going to do it like that, I guess. Okay, so like that should be okay, no?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, okay, sorry for that. Yeah, so I think from what I see from the participants, I know most of you, or you should have heard of me, but I'm Clémentine Gravier, Capacity Building Officer at the URBACT program. And I'm indeed very happy to be there for this final event of the Tropa Verde network, because indeed I was there 2.5 years ago in Santiago. I think it was the final phase 1 meeting, and indeed it was another time. A lot has happened since there. And on your side and as well, we've been hit by the pandemic. And actually, now it's really, you've done a lot of work during these 2.5 years. So now it's really the time to wrap up and to look at all what you did. And as you said, Ivan, to start looking at what's coming next and you know, like the beginning of what's coming after. So now we are starting what we call the time to share period for all the transfer networks. And I think most of you know URBACT, but I'm going to quickly speak about it for those who don't. I'm going through this kind of information very, very quickly. But about URBACT, as you know, it's a European program. We are financed by the European Fund for Regional Development and our member and partner states. Our main objective is to promote integrated, sustainable urban development, and we work mainly with cities, but we also work with regional, national, and European level. But we are working with cities and for cities. And we have 3 main strands of activities: transnational networks. So this is what Tropa Verde was about. And for instance, the Resourceful Cities network that you are going to hear about later, this is also a transnational network. We are doing capacity building in order to help the cities with some methods. And we are also a knowledge hub, like all the things that you have learned as well with Tropa Verde. What we are trying to do is to take your knowledge and share it further. And this is exactly what we are going to do now and in the next weeks. So basically, what we call the URBACT method is about integration, participation, and learning by doing in order to achieve sustainable urban development. Here, there is a nice, a video on the URBACT method. I'm not going to play it now, but you'll have it if you want to have a look. If you haven't watched it already, you can do so afterwards. Okay, so like just URBACT in a few words, we are in the third programming period, 2014-2020, but actually URBACT exists since 2002. And we are going towards URBACT 4 very soon. And since 2002, we've had 1,000 cities, over 160 networks, and Tropa Verde is among them and among the 23 transfer networks. And actually, if we look back, actually the transfer journey in general has started in 2016 already. We had opened a call for URBACT good practices, in which Santiago de Compostela was selected as a good practice and was awarded with this label. And then in 2017, I guess some of you were there. We had a Tallinn festival, which was about these good practices. And it was also the time when people could meet in order to build future transfer networks. And in 2018, we had this call open that Tropa Verde, in which Tropa Verde was selected. And then it was the start of your journey until now. And about the transfer networks. So actually, transfer networks, they were a new type of networks that we tried in URBACT 3. So it was also a very good learning opportunity for the program. So I think all of us, we learned at the same time. And in some numbers, so we had 23 transfer networks representing 25 countries and gathering 161 cities. And in total, 139 cities partners transferred to a certain extent the good practices. I mean, the point was not to transfer a full good practice, but at least part of it and to adapt it to the local level. The 23 cities with good practices actually improved their original good practices. There were 37% of cities newcomers, and which is really good. 76% of the city partners are confident about the successful reuse of the good practices. So this is really good, and it shows that all the work that you've done will probably be sustainable in the long term, which is nice. So what we have learned about transfer. This is not something new or something incredible, but obviously, in order to achieve a good transfer, you need a powerful lead partner who know how to motivate the partners and to show the good practice. You also need a good lead partner and lead expert relationship, which I'm sure was the case in Tropa Verde. I know that Ivan and Santiago had a good working relationship. You also need, obviously, cities partners motivation to learn about the good practice and to want to apply it locally. And as well, co-produce methods and tools. And this is what you've done at the beginning, checking, like understanding well the good practice and checking what you could do at your own local level. What worked less well during these 2.5 years? So some of you, and I think maybe it was the case at Santiago, but in other networks as well, it may, the staff changes at city level always make the sustainability of something more difficult. There was also legacy barriers for the transfer. So for instance, difficulties with the legal frameworks in order to transfer the good practices. There was also the high number of program deliverables that we asked, and we understood that, and we are never again going to ask so much deliverables from partners. You know about the famous Vox Pops, and I hope you don't hate us for that, but we'll make sure you don't. And obviously, we got the coronavirus eating us, and this also impacted the transfer of the good practices. But during this time, actually, it was, let's see it as well as a good opportunity. Obviously, it impacted your local action and the transfer of the good practices. But I think most partners also showed high resilience and adaptation skills. It was also a good opportunity for everyone as well at URBACT to upskill, to get more digital skills in order to exchange online. And I think some of the things that we learned, we are never going to give them up. So in a way, this was a good opportunity. And we also had, you know, the webinars in the spring, and I think we managed to keep up the URBACT community spirit at that time. So in a few words, transferred has been shaped by simplicity, and really this process of understanding, adapting, and reusing. We consider it very efficient, and I'm going to explain it later, but we are going to reuse it actually. So all the transfer network have been different. They have been going in different speeds and so on. But really the most important point is, I think at the beginning of the transfer network, someone had said good practices don't travel on their own. And obviously these 2.5 years showed that it's about people motivation, people willingness, about the exchange and the dynamic. It's always about that in order to have a good transfer. So now what's next? So we really discovered the tool of transfer, and we are going to use it further. And how? So first, we have actually, they were just stated a few months ago, a few pilot networks in which a city with a urban innovative action practice or project is going to transfer this to a few other cities. And this was a willingness of the European Commission to test that, you know, how this transfer mechanism could help transferring a big innovative project. And all of this is going to something that we are testing with URBACT in mind. We also have actually a second wave on transfer network. The call was just closed a few weeks ago, and the results are going to be announced in a few weeks. So, and here, these are some of the lead partner of Transfer Network decided to carry on for a second wave of their transfer. So I think it will be also very interesting. It will be shorter for 18 months as well, to try this transfer process in a shorter period of time. And also very interestingly, we are going to use as well this transfer at national level. Some of the good practice cities, so having transferred the good practice from the good practice city, will themselves transfer the good practice at the national level. And I think we selected 7 of them, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm really looking forward to what will happen as well with this transfer at national level. So all of these are pilots that we are currently testing, and this will all feed for the URBACT program, which will be launched next year. And now let's have a look at Tropa Verde, and to celebrate, we are going to hear a lot of your stories, your good successes. I'm really looking forward to that. But I just wanted to share a few pictures of things that I've noticed myself. First, I just wanted to obviously start with a few pictures from this meeting in Santiago when we did not have to wear masks. And it was a really nice meeting, and I will thank again Santiago for their hospitality at that time. It was a nice time. And then here are some of the few things I could notice from the different partners. So first, I saw there is this really nice video from Guimaraes. about the project. It's really well explained, and it's really nice to see the people's faces, the people involved in the project. So well done for that. It's really nice. I also could have a look at the Vox Pops from Pablos Mela, and I can see that you had some fun doing them, and so good Vox Pop, and also nice to see these people involved at local level. All the more in digital, period when you don't see so many people, it's nice to see what's really happening at local level. Also, this transfer story from Opal that you shared a few time ago, it's really interesting to see how you linked Tropa Verde to other projects that you had at local level. So well done with that. Then we have this sway, this transfer story made into a sway by Zuglo, also very well done. I don't know if you are going to share all of this, but in this sway you have a lot of material. It's really well done to understand the whole process of your Tropa Verde story in Zuglo. And then as well, I just wanted to share this learning with Tropa Verde. I think Santiago as well improved their practice and actually showed their resilience in using Tropa Verde during the lockdown last year to do some to create some activities for kids during lockdown. So well done with that. So that was just a quick word with me. I'm sure we are going to hear about many more words. I'm hoping that you will carry on the work, that it will be sustainable. I'm confident about that. But share further your stories and about your successes. We will be looking forward to hear about that. And a good opportunity to do that will be, I'm sure you have already have heard about that, but the URBACT City Festival taking place from 15th to 17th of June. Really, this will be a great opportunity for you to share further your stories, to let us know, to show, all, to explain what you have done, to share with others, to gain some visibility from other networks, and as well yourself to know what other networks and partners have been doing, also maybe in your own country. So I'll be really looking forward to see you there. So thanks a lot, and back to you, Ivan.
Well, thank you very much, Clementine, for this short overview of URBACT, past, present, and future, I would say, and we are already looking forward to the future and next steps. There will be time after at the end of this first part of the session for question and answers. So let's move to the next to the next presentation. In this case, as mentioned, we wanted to also get some knowledge and experience from other URBACT projects, and I welcome again Gianmarco and his colleagues and friends from Resourceful Cities. We've invited Resourceful Cities among many other URBACT projects because it's probably one of the closest project to Tropa Verde in some of its activities or targets, and also in order to give us all an overview of a different kind of URBACT project, as it's not a transfer network in this case, but an action planning project. So Gianmarco, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. First of all, I try to share my screen. Can you see it?
Perfect.
Perfect, that's good. Okay, thank you very much, Ivan, for inviting us to this session and for introducing us so kindly as you have done. In the agenda of this session, the Resourceful Cities project is described as another URBACT project linked to circular economy, and I hope that this another circular economy project will get more color in the presentations that I will be doing together with, and it's a bit of an experiment with two highly valued partners in our network. First of all, the city of Oslo, Christina Einbu, who will be presenting the case of Oslo, and Julie Popper from the city of Mechelen in Belgium. So let me, but first a bit of the dull stuff and tell you something about the highlights of what is our project about. This Resourceful Cities Action Planning Network has its origins in the Urban Agenda Partnership on Circular Economy, and I saw on your agenda that Axel will be joining us later on. The Hague was a member in this Urban Agenda Partnership, as well as Oslo, who was leading in that partnership. And also was also leading on one of the actions in the partnership, and that was the action on urban resource centers. The focus of our partnership was on the relationship between waste and circular economy, especially the so-called transition from waste management to resource management, as we called it. The simplest definition of resource management would be closing local and regional loops by investing in prevention, reuse, and recycling. And the partnership identified urban resource centers as maybe an interesting concept to promote and support this. We studied several examples across Europe and identified common traits and challenges and developed a typology of urban resource centers across Europe. And this was published by the Urban Agenda Partnership in a report, but somehow we wanted to safeguard the legacy of that action, and we started thinking about how can we develop this, let's say, next generation of urban resource centers that could support a circular economy in cities. And that's where URBACT came along, actually, which gave us the opportunity to develop this concept further in a new project together with new stakeholders and new partners. So to cut a long story short, this was how our URBACT project was born, actually, and this is the rationale for the Action Planning Network on Urban Resource Centers. Then about the rationale of urban resource centers themselves. As I already mentioned, urban resource centers are an interesting concept to promote and support circular economy in cities. The main rationale for this is that cities consume a large percentage of the world's resources, are responsible for most greenhouse gas emissions and generate vast quantities of waste, and are also responsible for the collection and treatment of waste usually. With that in mind, there are countless opportunities in cities for what we call closing the loop through waste prevention, reuse, repair, recycling, and whatever else is there on the waste hierarchy. And by doing so, they can contribute substantially to global resource efficiency and combat climate change. And what is more, investing in closing these loops can generate new circular, inclusive economic activity in cities, which is especially also relevant for the post-COVID recovery and resilience of cities. And last but not least, as I always say, cities are big enough to make a difference and small enough to make it happen, which means that cities often have the right scale to achieve these goals and objectives. Then about the policy challenge that we are trying to address in our network. This slide more or less sums it up in the most relevant elements. As I said, we want to develop a sort of next generation urban resource centers to promote the positive economic, environmental, and social impacts of a resource efficient circular economy. And we want to do that by facilitating waste prevention, reuse, repair, and recycling. And these resource centers can serve as part of the infrastructure as connecting points for citizens, new businesses, and startups to co-create new ways of closing the loops at a local level. So this is basically what we're trying to achieve with our network. But having said that, this broad perspective also means that there is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Some partners in our network focus more on education and awareness. Others are interested in developing viable business cases or want to use the urban resource centers as part of their urban or part of their city branding, for example. So to deliver on a policy challenge with our integrated action plans at the end of the project, the URBACT method of transnational exchange and learning offers excellent opportunities to serve and to go about this in a sort of tailor-made fashion for every interested partner and every stakeholder. So more as in general, this exchange and learning process that we're going through now addresses a wide range of topics, and the most important ones are on the screen right now, which are knowledge and skills to promote waste prevention, reuse, and repair. That's one of the things that we have to invest in in our local communities. We have to look at funding and incentives for waste reduction measures. Communication and awareness, of course, are very important about the value of products and materials. If we say that our waste is worth money as a resource, we have to put our money where our mouth is, or not. I said, yeah, that's how you say it. Put your money where your mouth is. And the other one is a socio-economic inclusion through training, employment, and entrepreneurship. And of course, there are always legal barriers that we have to overcome. And that's also one part of the activities of our network. These are the partners in our cities, in our network, next to Oslo, Mechelen, and The Hague, present in this session. There are 7 other partners: Zagreb in Croatia, Bucharest in Romania, Patras in Greece, Famalicão in Portugal, Cáceres and Ciudad Real in Spain, and of course the Polish city of Opole, who is also part of your network, Tropa Verde. So this was the boring bit of the presentation. Now on to the interesting part. And I would like to give the floor to Christina Eijnbu from Mechelen, who will present the case of Oslo, home of what I call the mother of all urban resource centers. Take it away, Christine.
Thank you for that introduction, Jan Harko. I guess you'll have to help me with clicking the presentation.
Just prompt me.
Perfect. So yes, my name is Christina Eijnbu, and I am from the city of Oslo, where I work with service development in the Agency for Waste Management. And I will now take you through a short presentation of Oslo's mini recycling stations. So next slide, please. So Oslo has 9 mini recycling stations and 2 mobile mini recycling stations. And by definition, mini recycling stations is practically a walking-based concept, which means that you can deliver a maximum of basically 2 shopping bags with things to the station. And at the station, you can deliver bulky waste, small amounts of bulky waste, which includes paper and cardboard, for example, metal, ceramics and porcelain, textiles, electronic waste, hazardous waste, glass and metal and wood. And you can also deliver and pick up reused items. All stations are run by the municipality, and most are run and financed by the Agency for Waste Management in Oslo. The service is paid by the citizens through their waste tax, which means that it's a service exclusively for the citizens or the private households in Oslo. Next slide, please. Okay, so some hard facts about our mini recycling stations. So in 2019, 4,540 tons of waste was delivered to these stations, and in addition, around 400 tons of items were reused, and we had more than 315,000 visits. And there has been a positive trend for the station the last years. And an exception was 2020 due to COVID-19, with only 253 tons of items being reused. And this was, of course, partly due to the stations being closed last year. Next slide, please, Anarko. So all the mini recycling stations in Oslo will be accessible with the Oslo Key app, which is basically a digital key on an app which makes the stations self-service stations. Enrolling Oslo's mini recycling stations into the Oslo Key app is part of the municipality's plan to open the municipal services and spaces to the public. And this makes the stations, of course, very accessible to the citizens. And Søringa, which was the first pilot station, increased its opening hours from 7 hours to more than 70 hours per week. And the citizens are very satisfied with this service, and we see that visits are rising due to this. Next slide, please, Jan Marco. I also wanted to show you another, a bit different case, one of our 9 mini recycling stations in Oslo, which is called the Lindeberg locality, which is more than a mini recycling station. It's also a reuse and repair space, and it's an important place for the local community. Next slide, please. So the local community can use the space for free to arrange, in order to arrange events and activities. And they do. Actually, 11 regular events are organized by and for the local community on a regular basis. And in addition, the municipality initiates repair and reuse events such as workshops for fixing bicycles, electronics, and shoes. And I think the success factors of this Lindeberg locality is that it is a very informal place with a low threshold to visit and participate. And it's run by a very engaged manager who wants to make reuse a normalized and attractive thing for everyone. And the last slide now, Jan Marco, please. So I want to finalize the presentation with this last slide with a picture of the local kids from Lindeberg locality. Carolina, who is mentioned on the last slide, who is the manager of the place, she says that the children do not think of Lindeberg locality as a reuse service. They really like the reuse section and they just call it the free shop. And I'm thinking that maybe we have something to learn from these kids. And with this, I would say thank you for your attention and bring on or introduce my good colleague Jule Poppe in Mechelen.
Thank you, Christine. Yeah, I'm Julie, working in the city of Mechelen from the city strategy and development department. My task is to run a program on circular cities. And I want to tell you how we value actually several sites within our city as urban resource centers, even activities we see as urban resource activities in our city. We look at recycling stations like Oslo, but also repair activities, as well as different buildings which have been empty for a long time or for a shorter time, such as the old library or the old fire station, which are now sites we give to creative and circular entrepreneurs. They may use the space temporary, and many activities happen in these spaces in which both material resources and human resources are valued. So today I want to tell you something about one specific site. You can go to the next slide, which we are developing as a social circular hub together with public and private partners. It's an old brown field, actually within the interior city, a black field even, in the interior city. The Potterij, yeah, it's a Flemish name, is an old laundry, an old industrial laundry, which is close to the railway station and close to the entrance to this shopping city, actually, so the inner city. It has been sanitized by the public Flemish waste company for years, and now we want to bring it back to the society and give room for circular entrepreneurship within this public space, but also within an office space, which is next to the Potterij, as you can see on this map. Okay, you can go to the next slide, Jan Harko. So what we are doing is like, we are trying to build a social circular hub within the interior city, together with other partners, with the Flemish Public Waste Company, with a real estate company and so forth, who owns the office space next to the Potterij. And we're trying to build a circular site which will be both a community of people coming together within this space to foster the circular economy, but at the same time, also we want to attract citizens and make really a vibrant space within the city where the potential of the circular economy is very tangible. In fact, the buildings will be renovated by 2023, 2024. But for now, we are already testing and trying to accommodate people who are running several circular initiatives and working further on the business, develop the business model of this hub. Thanks to the Resourceful Cities network, we are getting very valuable information to build this hub. You can go to the next slide. So who is part, maybe this will make it more visible what we are doing, who is now part of this community of people who are inside the buildings. It's SILAB, for instance. This is a creative collective of entrepreneurs who are having the ambition to make the whole textile chain circular, and also to produce textile again in Mechelen within on a local level. For instance, Sibyl, she has a brand of nightwear, women's nightwear, which is made of old men's shirts. She's working together with Clinton, who is a repair artist. He calls himself a repair artist, and he's repairing denim jeans, making new collections out of old worn jeans. And then we have Jan, who is a researcher, who's interested in, who's working on product passports for textiles, and who's working on a lot of research activities, such as recognizing, for instance, the fibers within the textile in order to recycle, to sort textile and to recycle it. So they are forming a collective and attracting a lot of students, for instance, who are working together with them, but also they are now working together with really brands that to make new collections out of collections which are have, for instance, a default in it or something. Another example is Deelbaar Mechelen, shareable Mechelen, if you translate it to English. These are a bunch of citizens, volunteers who are very active in making all kinds of libraries. They run a library for tools, home and gardening tools. So for a fee of like 20 euros per year, as a citizen, you can go there and borrow whatever kind of tool to use when you're renovating, or to just do some tasks within your house or within your garden. They also run a library for laptops, especially during the COVID period. This has boomed because they are trying to, or they are giving laptops in a library system to vulnerable families who don't have a laptop at home. So children or youth, youngsters who have to do their homework now in COVID times digitally, they can get a laptop, and the library also is refurbishing the laptops they are doing everything every year to update the laptops for these children. They also run a library for seeds where you can go to get seeds for your home garden. Jan, Harko, yeah. But also more entrepreneurial people like switchers are part of the community. They have an innovation consultancy desk in which they advise companies all over Flanders, but also European companies to become more sustainable and circular. To run circular strategies and sustainable strategies within these companies. You have really a very nice mix of people coming together within the Potterij and Huisjosen. There's also a hacker makerspace or a Fab Lab within the site where a lot of people come together to make machines, for instance, that shredder plastics in order to make new materials. We can go to the next slide. And now, thanks to the Resourceful Cities network, we are also implementing a small-scale action to start next to the Fab Lab, also a biolab, a bioincubator. And we found some people who are going to turn our coffee grids that we produce as a city within our city services. They will use it as a the grounds to make produce mushrooms and also chicory, Flemish speciality, and other vegetables. And so in the Potterij will now build a modular space in which they will start to grow vegetables on the basis of the coffee grid and invite other people, also citizens, to do this at home. So they will teach people how to use coffee grid as a base for mushroom nursery. And also they are inviting other entrepreneurs to join to make other products from the coffee grid, for instance, soap or cosmetics or whatever is possible. These are just some examples on how we try to, it's the last slide, Jan Harko, you can show just how we try to develop circular businesses as a city together with the entrepreneurs, but also citizens who are very entrepreneurial, and try to not only foster circular economy, but also social employment, because there are a lot of opportunities for employment within, for people with a distance from the labor markets within different of these projects. So I will start because we only because we only have 5 minutes, but I'm very curious whether there are questions, and I can talk on these matters for a long time.
Okay, thank you, Julie. Yes, I know you could talk forever about this subject, as we all can. Maybe I will skip this one for sake of time, but this is one just to show that urban resource centers in The Hague is also part of a bigger network and ecosystem of circular initiatives. You can look at that later on when the presentations are being distributed by Ivan, I think it will be. So this is it from the Resourceful Cities Network. Hope you like this small tour of what we are doing. And looking forward to any questions around any questions that you may have later on in the program. I think there's room for that, Ivan.
Yes, thank you very much to the three of you for your presentations. I know it was quite challenging in such a short time and with so many inspiring ideas and projects and lots of people behind. We have a little bit of delay, so I'll move quickly to Tropa Verde presentations in order to try to keep a few minutes for questions before the break. Okay, so let's share the screen. Here it is. I think you do see my screen, right? Okay. Okay, it works well. I don't see you. I don't see you now. So if someone can just confirm it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thanks again for resourceful cities for your presentation. I think, as you'll see through Tropa Verde, you'll understand why we are very interested in hearing from you as well, because somehow through with different kind of tools, targets, objectives, and so on, we have many issues in common. I would say especially the necessity to create, as Oslo has showed, some kind of mini recycling stations, which are closer to citizens to bring their waste, and on the top of it to need to involve people in this process. I'll intend to make my presentation a bit shorter, but I don't want to skip it too much. As mentioned by Clementine before, we have started this journey 2.5 years ago already. So in the next 10-15 minutes, I'll intend to show you what Tropa Verde is about, the different transfer activities we've had, and above all the different achievements, okay, especially for all the newcomers who are here today. So the idea is to brief you to try to understand what is the strategy behind Tropa Verde. The question is here, how do we get from this image that you can see here on the left of a landfill with several kind of waste, including.
Sorry, Ivan,
yes?
we are not seeing your presentation.
You don't see?
No.
My presentation? You don't see the next screen?
No.
Okay. I don't know why. I don't know why. I will. I'm supposed to. Now you see it?
No.
You don't see it either.
I have the presentation, so if you want.
Well, if you could, so yeah, share it, please, because I'm supposed. I'll stop sharing. I'm supposing. Okay. Okay. So now you do see the presentation. So, okay, I'm back here. Now you see this picture here on the left. And as I was saying, the issue is to try to explain what Tropa Verde is about. How do we get with this landfill? From this landfill, where you can see some plastic, glass, paper, oil, and on the top of the picture, you can even see a little toy, to a kind of enjoyable and funny experience. And if you could click to such as visiting Jura Park in a place, and sorry for my friends from Poland about my presentation, a place called Krasieżów, which is close to Opole, and so to be able to visit Jurassic Park with all its attractions, time tunnel, pavilion, oceanarium, amusement park, and so on. And how do we get it, particularly taking into account that Tropa Verde is not about recovery and decommissionation of land? Okay, next slide, please. So,
oh, sorry.
yes.
Sorry.
Sorry, I don't. Okay. No problem. I see your screen as well now, so I can see it. So first of all, I was going to offer you a little quick Spanish class to understand it, to understand the project. So Tropa means troop, group, or as we like to say it, it's a pack of friends. And Verde, as many of you might know, means green. So it's easy to guess that Tropa Verde is about green troopers. It's about people working together for a kind of greener society. So Tropa Verde is on the top of everything. It's about involving people, from civil servants, technicians, decision makers, etc., to also local businesses, and at the end, of course, citizens, to fight for a cleaner world. So if we can pass to next, click to next, please. Okay, so to tell about the story, everything started there back in 2015, 6 years ago, in this beautiful city of Santiago de Compostela, that you might know. It's a recognized World Heritage City by UNESCO. It's very well known for its cathedral that you can see on the picture, and as a destination for pilgrims from all across the world, crossing the way of St. James. Okay, but if you could click, Carme. The issue is that despite its beauty, in 2015, a survey showed that many inhabitants were reluctant to recycle, due mostly to a lack of habits and lack of information. So Tropa Verde was created at that period. So it's quite still a new practice in the city, and it was promoted first as a public partner, private-public partnership, promoted between the city and a technological spin-off called TEIMAS, that has been very important in the process. And I know that people from, I've seen Ricardo from TEIMAS is here today joining us, to try to find a solution to motivate people towards recycling. And in less than 2 years in Santiago, they carry out over 16,000 recycling actions, where from local citizens, where local citizens were reaching civil centers and different, what we called, that's a translation from Spanish, green points, which are recycling stations. Okay, as explained before by Clementine, after this experience in 2017, Tropa Verde was recognized and labeled as a good practice by URBACT. Okay, I switch off the sound. Okay, by URBACT, and afterwards they went to Helsinki Festival, submitted an application, so on, and after a two-step process, in December 2018, it was selected to become a transfer project, okay? In order to share the experience, to transfer the experience to other cities. So next slide, please, Carme. So here are the partners of Tropa Verde. So the good practice of Tropa Verde was transferred partly, or most of it, to the following partners of different sizes and countries. We will have more details afterwards among them. Let's move to next slide. Carmen, thank you. So first of all, we have to remember what Tropa Verde is about. Its goal is to involve citizens in waste management. So for this, what we had to do, what we have done, is to build a circle for a circle of citizens, local businesses and public services, and places, collecting points where citizens can deliver waste. So that included traditional collecting points and new ones closer to citizens. And for this purpose, we used, TEIMAS developed what we call a game-based platform, where citizens can change, get points or stars while recycling, that they can exchange afterwards against rewards, different kind of rewards from city council or from local retailers. That can be a free haircut, a free meal, tickets to concerts, free car parks, etc., etc. So there is a huge work there behind for any organization or city that wants to incorporate, adapt Tropa Verde, because it's not only about, okay, translating and adapting a platform. It's about identifying clearly and creating, in some cases, this network of waste collection points, and also, in order to make sure that it's going to be a success, to create as large as possible network of local sponsors. Okay. But I will take here the sentence I heard before from Jan Harko in its rationale, where he was saying that to promote recycling or circular economy, cities are big enough to make a difference, but and small enough to make it happen. And I totally fully agree with this, and I think it is all the philosophy we have behind. In this case, we are talking about a first experience that was born in Santiago, a city of around 100,000 inhabitants, so big enough to make a difference and small enough to reach people. Next, please. Okay, this is a picture. Okay, next one. Thank you. So as we said, we had 3 groups of cities. We have 6 cities in these networks, divided into 3 groups. Here you see them in different colors, green, blue, and red. It was because of their profiles and also our expectations at the beginning. In green, apart from Santiago, we had Guimarães in northern of Portugal. And here, due to the size, the competencies, the proximity, not only geographically, but also in terms of language and structure of the city and so on, it was very clear from us that it should be easier to transfer the good practice to this kind of city. Then we had agglomerations, okay, much more complex in Opole and above all in Nice, with a larger network of cities, but with clear competencies and teams in terms of collecting waste. Well, independent towards waste collection recycling. So here we thought, okay, it might be more complex, but still with as they have competencies, it might be somehow easier to transfer part of the good practice. And then we had a third group of cities which are district cities. Zugló, which is a district council of Budapest in Hungary, and Pavlos Melas, which is a district council of Thessaloniki in Greece. And where here both are, as we said, an independent governing municipal unit, but with lower competencies towards waste management and recycling. Waste management will depend on the bigger municipalities, Budapest and so on, or the regions, and even collecting points were out of their geographical scope. So there we thought, okay, it's going to be harder. Let's see if it will be possible. So next slide, please. We had a journey initially designed following URBACT methodology with the idea of, well, first of all, training our different peers or different colleagues in understanding how Tropa Verde can work and can be implemented. And in the second period, to adapt it to the different realities and needs, with the target of launching it and testing it in the first half of 2020. If you can click, Carme, of course, we met the COVID at that stage, and everything became very frustrating because, as I said before, Tropa Verde is requires people mobility to go to the different kind of recycling points and spots. Many of them, as it was mentioned in the previous presentation of our colleagues from Oslo, were closed during the lockdown, so it was impossible. And on the top of that, in our case, it's a strategy where we reward them with gifts that they can enjoy, mostly in local shops, commerces, bars, and so on, restaurants that were also closed. So it was not the best period to test and launch it, but we managed to and the partners managed to progress. Next slide, please. So to launch a platform, as mentioned, well, many materials and training sessions were organized, training about how to recruit, train, and follow up the sponsors. The same, how to recruit, training, and follow up a network of places of recycling spots and so on. There was also examples from Santiago about the customization and design of different materials to promote it, like vouchers, merchandising, welcome kits, and so on, and all the technology behind the adaptation, translation, and so on of the platform, and the loading of the profiles of issuers and collaborators in the system. Next, please. We can go here quickly. It's well, different kind of materials and so on. So maybe we can move to the next slide. Yeah, I had slightly modified it, so it's okay. So here, for example, here are within the training activities, different manuals and documents were prepared for the partners in order to help them in English as a joint common working language, manual about how to work with the platform, how to promote the platforms, and several templates in order to collect information from the different profiles that have to be uploaded on the platform. Plus, as mentioned, merchandising templates that the partners, some of them have used part of them, and then they've adapted to their merchandising and marketing needs. We can move a few slides. Next one as well. That's just some pictures of example of local businesses. Next one, we will see also a mobile point that were mentioned, and on the down on the left, it's a more traditional collecting points, of course, and there you'll see someone getting a voucher in order to upload points on the platform. Okay, so part of the work that had to be done by the partners here, if we enter in the platform from Guimarães, we will see, and maybe if you click, you'll see it a bit bigger. Sorry for the quality here. If you could click, camera. Guimarães, as the rest of the partners, had to define, for example, how much quantity has to be brought in order to get some stars. And here you can see 1 liter of oil, 10 units of batteries, 1 full bag for the bottle tabs, etc., etc. With flexibility, each partner identified according to their priorities and realities. If we move to next slide. And as mentioned, partners had to upload, and in many cases, it's not a question of uploading, but create a network of collecting points. Here you see it that's in Greek from Pavlos Melas platform of Tropa Verde. As I said before, Pavlos Melas didn't have any collecting point within its district, and they've managed to create 5, which is not bad at all. And if we click, next click, we have an example also from Zuglo, who has also created a network of different collecting points within Zuglo and also within Budapest. And you can see there the kind of information that is provided about what kind of waste can be delivered there, the little icons you see in green, locations about when it is open, Google Map, and etc. etc. So there were a lot of local work here to make it as full of information as possible. If we go to next point, next slide, and here we are with our dinosaur again. So the final or parallel stage was that the city is, as explained, to establish a network of collaborating institutions, public and private ones, that will give rewards, discounts, again, free tickets to concerts, sports venues, parking, etc. So that includes, for example, here, if you see, against and with the best of my Polish, against 70 stars, you can get a free ticket at entrance ticket at the Jura Park, close to Opole, and we can see there that there are 30 tickets available. Okay, that's the example. So next slide, please. So the progress made, the situation in terms of transfer. When we enter into the platform, we can see the invitation to link to the different Tropa Verdes in the different countries. So click, please, Carmen, and thank you very much. Obviously, it works in Santiago. Curiously, as you will remember, we said we expected more difficulties in the district councils, but maybe because they didn't have the full competencies or recycling points, we found out that they were the most motivated partners, and they were the first ones to launch Tropa Verde. Actually, Zuglo was the first one. They managed in Hungary to open the platform right before the COVID-19. Then, unfortunately, they had to close it because it was impossible to promote it and so on. But they were already there on that period already at the end of 2019. Pavlos Melas managed to, and we are very proud of what they've done. They've managed to open it in the middle of July. I'll give you some data after of July next year. So in the middle of the pandemic already. If you click. Then we had in Poland, in Opole, they delayed it a little bit due to the COVID, and also, as mentioned by Clementine at the beginning, they had also new staff involved, new staff to be trained and incorporated and so on. But they managed to make a first launch of it last month, actually, in the framework of the World Environmental Day. So still there are some profiles to be uploaded, and it's not 100% operational, but it works. And in Portugal, they've been working very well through the last month last year, sorry, in Guimarães, and they are well, just kind of, they were just waiting for the right time to open it and be able to launch a huge campaign in order to catch citizens. The situation has been very tough in Portugal till a couple of weeks ago, and we expect the platform to be open, well, very soon in Guimarães. Then in Nice, if you click, Carme, well, it's not red, okay? As mentioned at the beginning and by Clementine, the objective was not to fully transfer everything to everybody. Nice, as we said, it was a much more complex territorial authority involving a lot of municipalities and a department involved that is fully responsible of waste collecting management. And there, the COVID strongly affected them, changes all their protocols and new priorities. So they had to slow down a little bit with Tropa Verde. But we don't expect the platform to be open there in a short period in the future. It's not about their targets, but still some of the experience shared with the partners have been transferred. For example, further to visiting social centers in Santiago at the very beginning, and seeing that there it was possible also to open collective we call them brown points for compost. They, together with their network of sport and social networks in Nice, they've opened several new compost posts in Nice. So slowly they managed to incorporate some of the activities. So the next click, please, which is almost the final one. Just to give you some data about Pavlos Melas, as I said, in their case, they've decided to focus on 4 specific streams to start smoothly, step by step: aluminium, paper, plastic, and frying oils. They fix clear goals, clear targets in terms of kilograms of or liters to be reached. They've created, as mentioned, 5 green spots, so that's very good. They had around 40 municipal employees involved. That's a lot of work behind. Managed to open it the middle of last year, even during the COVID period. And they managed, above all, to get already 500 registered users, and are expecting to reach some 3,000, hopefully by the end of this year. They already had a network of 30 rewarders, so little shops, commerce, businesses, and so on, collaborating with the municipalities. And over 2,000 vouchers redeemed. So it works. It works. So as a last slide, next one, conclusions, vision, main challenges toward the future. Okay, well, as mentioned, we'll need to launch or relaunch the platforms in the different cities in order to be able to make a good public awareness campaigns that we expected to do last year and it was impossible or didn't make sense. It's going to be very important, and at the key target, key issue for the success to guarantee human resources to manage Tropa Verde in each towns in the future, and for Tropa Verde as a good practice itself, well, it could be transferred to more cities in the future. Why not? Even if it didn't apply, it couldn't apply to the call of URBACT, the last call of URBACT, and well, we have this kind of parallel link to the name of the event today, include a new RE in the already 3 RE strategies. And if you click here, Carme, we will see a couple of clicks. You already know this one, which is the official one. And we like to say, if we click, we add also rewards, okay, to it. And that's all for me. Sorry, I know what time is it? We are. So thank you very much. Here you have a couple of links. The link to the first link is the one to the project itself, where you can read many information about the progress made and so on. The transfer stories will start to be uploaded. There's already a transfer story from Opole uploaded, and from next week we'll start uploading all the rest of the transfer stories. And if you join the platform, you can also visit the different Tropa Verdes in the different countries. Okay.
Sorry, so, Ivan, just yes. A minute. I would like to introduce Ricardo and Miguel from Teimas, because they want to say some words before the coffee break. If you don't mind,
of course, we wanted, if it's fine for everyone, even if we have a bit of delay, to at least keep 5 minutes for questions and so on. So maybe Ricardo or Miguel, if you want to, who are the creators, the inventors of Tropa Verde, I will be very happy to hear you.
Okay. Well, we only one per minute. We want to thank to Santiago Council and URBACT and all the partners for this personally this great project. It was very rich for me to participate and to belong to this project. And I want to thank to everybody. I think I've made many colleagues here. I'm seeing now their videos, their faces, and I'm very glad for being in this project.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Hello all. In October 2017, we went to Estonia with my colleague Marta Moran, and we showed for the first time the Tropa Verde in a European project. In Estonia, we meet Ors from Suglo, that was one of the promoters of this I understand, successful transfer project. After that, I would like to say that thanks to all of you. It was a great pleasure for me knowing you these past years, especially having some drinks with Ivan, with Marius, with Dalila here in Santiago, with Javi, and with any other people from this project. So thank you. I would like to be more with this project, but you know that the last year wasn't a very good year for small enterprises or small companies like Teima. So after that, thank you, and it was a great pleasure. You have one place here in Santiago Compostela with Teima always. Thank you.
Thank you
both. Hi, Ivan. Only finally, I will introduce my colleague Daniel Cid. He's in charge of Tropa Verde from now on. So I know he will do a very good work, and I know you all will miss my fluent English. Fortunately, he's very fluent in English. And let me introduce him.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to meet you all. I know that you don't know me, but I'm very happy to be here and to be a part of Tropa Verde from now on. And we'll keep in touch.
Definitely. We'll definitely miss your English, Ricardo.
That's sure.
Okay. Before we take a break, any questions to the maybe you have many questions, but any specific issue that part you would like to raise? Any of you, any questions to some of the speakers? Oh, you need a coffee? I see some faces kind of, I need a coffee. We are in different time zones.
We always need a coffee.
Okay, so we save some time here. Better. We make it's okay if we make a kind of 5 minutes break, okay, to grab a coffee and so on, and we get back. Don't disconnect. I mean, don't leave. Don't leave. Stay around here, and we take 5 minutes for coffee, grab anything, and see each other, and start with the second round. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cameras once you are back, to make sure so that we see that more or less everybody is back, even if afterwards you're going to switch them off. Okay, let's give us one additional minute. Okay, I think we can smoothly start, and people will be joining, you know, not to delay it much more. Depending on the number of questions or answers and you might have afterwards, I think we are going to catch the timing at the end of this session probably. we will remain available as mentioned for any questions you also have on the previous presentations, and feel free to send them also by emails or write them in the chat. Any questions to the team of Resourceful Cities, for example, we'll be happy to forward them if you have them. I'm sure it was a lot of information, but very inspiring ones. And we will share, of course, all the presentations. Okay, so in this second part of the morning, as mentioned, we wanted to discuss not only about our experience in the past 2 years, but get more information about other inspiring activities, inspiring projects, maybe future good practices, who knows. While discussing it with the partners, we had identified a couple of them, quite different ones, so also to make it a bit more attractive for all of you. So we'll have a couple of presentations, as mentioned, by Guimarães City Council and by Pavlos Melas. So let's start with the first one. So I welcome here Carlos Ribeiro, who is the director of the Landscape Lab, Landscape Laboratory of Guimarães, where we have had a project meeting actually there in your place, and who is going to present us a set of projects actually that you're running there. So Carlos, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks. Good morning. I promise I will keep the time, so then I can send my email. You can ask questions by email if the delay is too big. So the presentation, just a minute. Okay, so welcome everyone. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you, all partners of Tropa Verde, for your work and for this incredible project that you are doing. So in this case, as we know, cities have an increasingly important role in changing the habits and also the behaviors of citizens, and also more important in the transformation that can lead us to improve our quality of life to the sustainable development. And in this case, since 2015, Guimarães implemented a new governance ecosystem, an initiative that joins together the public sector, the universities, the non-profit associations, and also the citizens. This new governance ecosystem recognizes also the importance of transforming the planet from the local to the global level. So today and this morning, I will present the work that Guimarães is developing to the promotion of circular economy, namely the municipality strategy to reduce plastic and to avoid single-use plastic products, to improve waste recycling and also valorization. Due to this, Guimarães is due to 2016 reinforcing its commitment to sustainable development, and it was also the first Portuguese city to sign the European Declaration, European Cities Declaration for Circular Economy. So this is the project that we implemented here in 2016, Guimarães for Circular Economy, G4s. A set of projects was established for waste recycling. This is a set of projects that we established here in the way of green residues, soil remediation, bioplastic production, also about waste, urban waste, such as chewing gums and cigarette butts, for example. This is the first example. The city hall presented here the two urban furnitures that intend to contribute to the reduction of chewing gum and cigarette butts residues. But more than this, from the cigarette butts, new products were generated such as clay and bricks. And from chewing gums, polymeric products were also created, as you can see in the right picture. Then we have also, as we know, as you all know, forestry and green residues are producing during the garden and green areas maintenance operations here. And these residues can be used in the production of biofuels and also to apply in biomass boilers located, for example, in municipal buildings, such as schools, also in nursing homes or swimming pools. So this is one of the ways that we are recycling here. Also, the region of Guimarães is known by its strong industrial background, namely the textile and tannery industries, which may have created also an environmental burden in some agriculture soils. And for this reason, we are creating this project with an institution of the University of Minho, with the soil remediation that involves the reduction of the concentration of heavy metals and other toxic compounds of soils using egg shells. Also, we have here the agro wastes are among the most produced bio waste in Guimarães, and therefore it is an interesting source for the production of second generation bioplastics. We are testing this to create a new product which with higher value, especially in the European market. Different techniques that we are testing also with the university. This is another example. In order to increase the lifetime of many medical equipments, Guimarães found with the framework of the Consigo project, it's Consigo, it's with you, a way to promote the reduction of waste, and at the same time to reuse several equipments such as wheelchairs and articulated beds, and these equipments are restored and delivered to families identified by the social division of the city hall. So these are some numbers, more than 200 donated equipments, more than 200 of recycling equipments. Some numbers that are that correspond to the year of 90 to last year, yeah, 2020. So Guimarães was also signed also in 2019 the plastic declaration of Eurocities to avoid single-use products. Maybe you can say that this is quite the last but important push to establish a strong strategy to reduce the use of plastic in the city events, in the local markets, for example. We are talking about a 3-steps strategy, adding transformation, innovation, and also awareness. In the first step, we look to city council activity, tracking all situations that we could remove single-use plastics. In the second step, research institutions and also the private sector were challenged to search for new and innovative solutions. And finally, by offering alternatives to conventional plastics, we are trying to change our citizens' behaviors, raising awareness about the negative impacts of single-use plastics. So this is one of the examples, this kind of transformation. 10,000 of cloth bags are being distributing to citizens every year, and also in the local markets, and also 35,000 biodegradable bags were given also to sellers to replace the single-use plastics in the local market. Also at home, citizens can also use these biodegradable bags as waste bags. Both actions represented an investment from the municipality budget, and it was the first time in history that the municipality did this of purchase to influence citizens and also sellers transformation. This is the case that I told you, the biodegradable bags that we are distributing to sellers also in the local market. And this is the kind of innovation, because we want to lead by example. So in the municipality activity, we stopped using single-use plastic. By doing this, we are encouraging innovation from our suppliers. This is an example. Water supply company Vimagua developed a glass bottle to replace the use of single plastics. The measure also contributes to encourage the consumption of water from a public water system also. And this is a reusable bottle, of course, and that you can easily carry fitting on the lunchbox in the schools for students, for example. And also in our major events, we have another reusable cups that you can see in the top and the right. It's disposable plastic cups from the project CARE that Vitrus, another municipality enterprise, are distributing now. So another example of transformation through also, sorry about the sound, maybe can reduce here. Yeah. Another example of transformation through the promotion of innovative solutions is this project that we are developed here in the Landscape Laboratory, a partnership between the City Council and two universities. And this is the project Aqualastic, more aqua, more water, less plastic. This project combines research and development with a strong awareness campaign, with urban art, with expositions, with some outdoors that we are creating in the city and that we created in the last year also. So a huge campaign to a strong campaign to awareness raising about the impact of plastics in our ecosystems, mostly the marine ecosystems. This is one of the photos of our exposition. This is Guimarães. This is one of the rivers in Guimarães. So that we use this kind of photographs, this kind of pictures to enhance maybe the sense of belonging. So we also created an eco barrier, a prototype that was designed to avoid accumulation of plastic in the rivers. And in this case, the plastic was recycled into new products that we gave back to community to the new biodiversity route. And this is the case, the plastic recycling, the plastic that we collected, with a partnership with a private enterprise, we recycle this kind of plastic. So this is a small video that explains some of the actions of the project. You can see here, like expositions.
There is no sound, Carlos.
Not sure. Yeah. We test this, but I always forget the sound. This is an outdoor that we put in the city center. Back over here near the landscape lab. It's the biodiversity route that we use. So this is some of the examples of the expositions, the urban art, and also the ecoberry that we included in this project, and also we included some promotional videos with the same question. Oh, sorry, with the same question in all videos. The question is, what happens if the waste that arrived at the sea came back home? And this is the question that we launched in these videos, that we address to citizens through some promotional videos, all of them with some details of the city to increase citizen identification, sense of belonging with the video and also the problem. I don't know the better word to say this. And this is one of the examples. So the waste from the sea came back to home. We made a lot of promotional videos. This is one of the examples. Another one is this one for Christmas with children. A big surprise for the children in this case. The same sentences. If the waste that arrived at the sea come back home. Also the impact of microplastics or microplastics on urban rivers was also assessed by this project. We are assessing the impact in some urban rivers that we have here, in 3 of them, and we will publicate these results next month. And during this year, as we know, another environmental problem appeared. This is another photo from the exposition, a frog with a mask in the river. And if we have a new challenge, we have also a new solution. So Guimarães developed a pilot project in schools to collect and recycle the COVID protective social masks discarded by students. A new container made by 100% recycled plastic was developed to enhance these masks' correct position. And allow the separation between the single-use propylene masks and the social masks. And from these masks, new products are being produced, reinforcing the importance of circular economy. And in top right, you can see just an example of a new product that we produced by the recycling of masks. So some of the projects that we are developing here in Guimarães, some of them promoting the circular economy, and most important, trying to engage citizens, because the engagement of citizens is crucial to the transformation that we are trying to make. Ivan.
Oh, Thank you very much, Carlos. Lots of very inspiring examples. Fantastic work carried out in Guimarães as always. I'm sure there might be lots of questions around the group. I would like to open the floor to any questions, if any of the participants. Just to break the ice, my first question, personal question, will be linked to the last point, even if all the rest are so of great importance. But last point linked to the masks. We know it's in the different countries we are facing difficulties linked to the recycling of masks, also due to the prohibition of recycling them in some cases. Did you have to deal with the ministry? There's a debate has taken place in Portugal in order to make it feasible, because in our cases it would be impossible. We have to, I think, burn them.
Yeah, when we launched the project, and the municipality launched the project with also the private sector, they have had a meeting with the Ministry of Environmental and also the Portuguese Agency for Environment to have allow us to launch the project. So here we have not a rule, a concrete rule to avoid this kind of waste recycling of masks. So we can do this, and in this case we are also try to put this pilot project in all municipalities of Portugal to get an industrial projects to recycling masks. So in this case, the Portuguese ministry are allowed to do this kind of recycling. But Dalila, you can also help in this case, maybe.
Hello. We have meetings with the environmental ministry, and they also give us the permission to make the recycling and to make the collection, the selective collection. In first way it was by the ministry, and then we have a Portuguese Environmental Agency, and they have made the regulations that we can make the collecting masks, the separating the masks, and the valorization of that.
Great. Thank you both. I see in the chat there was a question from Joanna, National Contact Point, concerning the bottles of water, if they were distributed for free or if there is a minimum charge. And I read that, Dalila, you have already answered her that they were distributed.
Carlos can explain a little bit more about this project, I think.
Yeah, in this case, the bottles were distributed free to all students and to all schools, and also are distributing free in all events that we are developing here in Guimarães. In the case of public that wants to buy the bottle, the cost of bottle, I think it's €1 that can buy a bottle. But in the schools, they are distributing free, and also in the municipality events, we are distributing these bottles free also.
Okay, great. And yes, there are many other examples of URBACT projects also.
And also in sportive gymnasiums,
sport activities. We are also distributing this kind of bottles also.
The public ones. Not your football stadium.
No, in this case, because we have no public now.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I see Clementine was adding in the chat, inviting you all also to see if you are interested in the use of arts to raise awareness about climate issues. There is an URBACT transfer network called Sea Change, linking environment and art and cultural activities. So I invite you to enter into this link. after our event, this afternoon or tomorrow. And we'll keep on with the second presentation from Pavlos Melas this time, Katerina. Welcome, Katerina. And I know your example is going to be somehow totally different, so hopefully also inspiring and of major interest for those who are interested in larger land recuperation projects. So Katerina, the floor is yours.
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Katerina Plutura. I'm an architect at the municipality of Pavlos Melas in Thessaloniki, Greece. This presentation is indeed quite different from what we've seen so far. It is about, though, a very important project of our municipality, the Metropolitan Park of Pavlos Melas. I hope everyone hears me well. There's no problem. Okay. It is one of the best examples in Greece of adaptive reuse of a brownfield area that used to be a military camp with an abundance of historic buildings that embodies both the concepts of sustainability and the basic principles of recycling. Now, we all know the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle. They are an important part of sustainable living, but they also embody the concept which may be applicable to the running of a house, a building, a city, and the whole country. And sometimes 2 more R's can be added to these 3 basic ones. Rethink, which means we should think about the way our actions impact the environment, and recover, which refers to the act of putting waste products to use. But how can we implement the concept of those R's to the built environment? How does the process of sustainability apply to space or buildings? Because it is undeniable that the construction industry has a significant impact on the planet. Enormous amounts of resources, materials, water, and energy are exploited, processed, and consumed for the execution of a work, and they are limited to the useful life of a building. It is one of the sectors that consume the most natural resources and use energy intensely. So it is the second R that can refer to the reuse of buildings for new purposes with new uses. Reusing existing buildings and materials as much as possible is the best way to reduce waste. Adaptive reuse of old structures not only ensures the maximum use of material lifespans, but also reduces waste. Reusing old buildings results in immediate and lasting environmental benefits. It's the best way of dealing with historic buildings and brownfield areas such as we have here. It is essentially the recycling of a building. Commonly associated with historic preservation, the process involves more than just restoration, because reuse in buildings provides huge environmental, economic, and social benefits, and here are some of them. The first is the reduction of waste. Before demolishing and directing tons of rubble to landfills and then beginning a construction from scratch, an existing structure should always be considered for reuse. The second is the less cost of construction. The economic advantages include the potential then we have the cultural and historical relevance. These buildings also act as roots that tie us to the people and virtues who came before. Sustainable design isn't restricted to the environment, and the intangible values of historical heritage are almost impossible to calculate in monetary terms. Historic buildings add value to a place through their variety, character, and a sense of familiarity. Also, there's the climate efficiency of older buildings. Though these structures may not be as energy efficient as new high-tech ones, they already have sustainable features. With a lack of significant climate control technology at the time of their construction, the form and materials of many old buildings were inherently efficient, with features like thick walls, shutters, high ceilings for air circulation, and light admittance. So these architectural sustainable features will be retained when rehabilitating and renovating them for contemporary use. There's also the diversifying of economic activities, because reuse and adaptation contributes to regeneration and sustainability in many other levels. The revitalizing of neighborhoods and public life. The adaptive reuse of historic buildings helps to revitalize neighborhoods and old cities. The physical revitalization associated with reuse positively impacts the surrounding neighborhoods, often encouraging upgrades in surrounding structures as well. And last but not least is the conveying of a great area of unbuilt green environment to the community. In this specific project, the percentage of built environment is really small. So far, the area has not been open to the public for everyday use. So it is a great opportunity to have such a large green space available to surrounding neighborhoods. Now, a few words about the whereabouts of the Bay of Thessaloniki, and as you can see, west quarters. It's at the southern borders of the municipality of Pavlos Melas and close to 3 neighborhoods with large populations. So you see these numbers are based on the 2011 census. So today we estimate that the population is quite larger than that. Here you can see some photos of the built environment around the Metropolitan Park. As you can see, they are heavily built and heavily populated. Some historic facts about the former military camp. By the end of the 19th century, Thessaloniki had started to expand to the east, but most parts of the west remained empty, with mostly cultivated areas. In that empty green area, the Ottoman army bought a large part of land of about 250 acres in 1895 and built a military camp with 2 army buildings, 4 stables, an administration building, and a mosque, which were completed in 1905. In 2012, the Greek army got hold of the military camp after the Greek Revolution, and the surrounding areas started to get built and populated. In 1940, the area was occupied by the German army, and until 1944, many other buildings were added to the camp. After World War II, the camp became property of the Greek Armed Forces. In 2003, the Ministry of Culture characterized the camp and some of the buildings as monuments and preserved areas. The Greek army abandoned the military camp in 2006, and the total area of 343 acres were attributed to public use, specifically to our municipality of Pavlos Melas. Here we see the different historic stages of the site of the Metropolitan Park. On the upper left side, we see the site as it was in the past, in the 1940s. To the right, we see the site as it is today, with the markings of the buildings that are characterized as preserved. On the lower side, we see a map of the proposition for its future use, with the projected entrances, future metro stations, the preserved buildings that are adapted to new uses, and the plan of the surrounding green area. Here we see the before, now, and after of one of the main buildings. On the upper left side, as it used to be. On the right, its current condition. And on the lower side, we see a rendering of the main building for its future use. In this slide, we see the location and condition of the building stock of the site. The built surface of the site is 24,292 square meters, which is approximately 7.4 of the Metropolitan Park area. Only 16% of the buildings are in good condition in green, 26% are in moderate condition in yellow, and 58% are in bad condition in red. Here we see the soil status of the area, some information about the soil status. 87.3% of the site is green. There is a 5.3% of hard surfaces and 7.4% of built environment, as we said before. According to soil studies that have been done to the site, there's a low degree of contamination, but still inappropriate for gardening and cultivation. In this slide, we can see the basic principles that were decided early on when the conversation about the reuse of the former military camp as a metropolitan park started. The main goal was the conveying of a large green area with public uses to public life, considering at the same time the strengthening of the environmental sustainability of the municipality and the highlighting of the historical and cultural significance of the site, not only for the area, but for the city of Thessaloniki. The first pillar for decision making is that the area must be environmentally upgraded in order to work as a core asset for a municipal green infrastructure policy. The second is that all interventions must take into account sustainability and renewable energy policies. The third pillar concerns the respect for social memory and the promotion of the cultural and historical capital of the site. And the fourth pillar is about the integrated development approach of the project in public life by installing recreational uses that are not aggravating and that contribute to cultural, environmental, and athletic approaches. Here we see the decisions that were made based on those four pillars. They had to do with the reduction of the built environment to 4.4% by choosing to demolish some of the buildings that were in really bad condition, with the conversion of the hard surfaces to water permeable surfaces and the renewal of the remaining 19.3% of the green area. In this map, we can see the specific uses that have been decided according to the basic principles that we discussed. The red color here shows the new town hall of Pavlos Melas and the museums of national resistance of Greek refugees and the historic findings of the excavations for the new metro stations. The pink here indicates buildings of culture. The orange is the administration offices here. Dark purple indicates commerce and workshops over here. And light purple shows leisure. Blue indicates athletic spaces and green concerns environmental education. Finally, the yellow indicates congressional activities. We can also see at the right the future available parking spaces and the projected entrances of the park. Here we see the before and after of the proposals for the Metropolitan Park and also the actions that have been finalized. Those are the public consultation for the finalization of the strategy via conversation with the residents, the feasibility study and the finalization of the program of integration. We are now at the first stage of the completion of the project, that of basic infrastructure. A special note should be made for the connection of the park with the actions of the Tropa Verde program of our municipality, the reward-based recycling program that has a lot of appeal to the residents of Pavlos Melas. Apart from the special waste bins that will be carefully situated around the park, we will install recycling corners for automatic counting of recyclable waste and point awarding to citizens. In addition, a number of environmental awareness events and campaigns will be held in the Metropolitan Park as means of promotion of the green municipal policies. And here we can see finally some of the plans and renderings of the existing proposals to have a better idea of how the Metropolitan Park will look after the finalization of the project. These are some renderings of the buildings, the entrances, and the surrounding green areas. Thank you ever so much for your attention, and if there are any questions, I'm at your disposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Katerina, for your presentation of this huge project that I know you've been working on for several years already in Pavlos Melas. I don't know if there is any questions. If I understood well at the end, you were mentioning that you are going to include recycling corners within this new park, yes. Right? Yes. So Tropa Verde will remain over there.
Yes,
which
of course,
is very good to hear that. I don't know if there's
with a special award, immediate award pointing. There will be corners that will you will have a card, and it will immediately give you the points according to the amount of waste you will put in the bins.
You will get there.
I don't know if Marius wants to share some of his thoughts or anything about these projects from the Tropa Verde program.
No, Katerina. Okay, good morning from me as well. There is nothing more to mention about this project. The point is that we wish to continue Tropa Verde and we will incorporate the principles and the factions for Tropa Verde in most of our future projects in our municipality. So that's why I will talk with Ricardo about any adaptation and stuff like that soon. I just want to mention that maybe these projects do not have many similarities comparing to the other projects that we have mentioned so far, but as you said, Ivan, it's a huge project with a huge budget and really absorb our energy, but it will a base project in order to produce more projects concerning sustainability, recycling, and sustainable development in general. So that's why we wanted to show the project and see the potentials of this project concerning what we can do in the future. That's it.
Thank you, Marius. Thanks again for all your efforts. And by the way, I've noticed at the beginning of your presentation that if we, with Tropa Verde, we intended to include a new RE after the 3 existing REs, you have added another 2, which were rethink and recover. So the list of REs are going to become very long in Europe. We are talking about re. That's good. Thank you very much. Okay, we are not so late, which is the good news. So in order not to delay and really try to finalize at around 1 p.m. as planned, I want you to stay tuned and stay here. We, as promised, we can take a 3 minutes break, second break, to grab a new cup of coffee if you want, or I know due to the time zone, maybe some of you have to or need to grab a sandwich. But please, it's 12:18. So in something like 5 minutes, 12:23, being very precise, we will start again with our 2 final guests that are going to be definitely very interesting, and the first one will be including fun with a little piece of music, and at the end, I know that both of our speakers are connected now. I see Axel here on the screen. So Axel from Council of European Municipalities and Regions will, as mentioned, bring you some feedback on the urban agenda partnerships on circular economy and their activities and so on. So again, we are always thinking about the future. So what's next, and from a urban perspective, and before her, Esther, I see you now, Esther, on screen as well, from the School of Reina Sofia School of Music, will explain an initiative from some of their students. So I read here, yes, a second cup of coffee is needed. So 5 minutes, and well, at 12:25, okay? Stay tuned. You don't have to leave the group. And thank you, Gianarco. I know you have to leave us. Thank you again for you and your colleagues for your contributions. We'll be in touch.
Esther, ¿quieres probar tu presentación?
No, no tengo ninguna presentación. Lo que tenemos son los vídeos.
Sí.
Y ya está. Y los vídeos los compartías tú, ¿verdad?
Sí. Ponemos, primero entiendo que es el de YouTube, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Perfecto, vale.
Hola.
Hola.
¿Qué tal todo?
Bien.
Bueno, recuperamos un poco el timing, que vamos con retraso, pero vamos, no vamos tan mal. Dentro de lo normal.
Está muy bien esto de compartir un cronómetro.
Proyecto de Sound of Recycling.
¿Lo escucháis bien?
Por las jornadas de emprendimiento. El año pasado cuando vi.
Sí, el cronómetro tiene su gracia. Lo pusiste tú, ¿no, Carmen?
Sí.
Está muy bien. Yo voy a empezar a hacerlo a partir de ahora con todo.
Porque antes se nos fue un poquito el tiempo de la pausa.
Mira, las clases que nos quedan de New Skills for New Artists lo voy a poner.
Está bien, está bien. Bueno, tienes tu fondo verde también.
Claro, he visto que estabais todos con un fondo verde y digo, bueno, pues yo también.
Buenas. ¿Qué tal?
Hola.
Buenas.
Bueno, queda una despedida un poco así rara. Bueno, pero bueno, ya presentamos a Daniel. Ya visteis que además de inglés va bien. No sé si visteis la presentación de Daniel de ayer. Carmen, ¿tú la viste?
Sí, claro, sí.
Yo creo que bastante bien. Pena que fue ahí al final, pero bueno.
Hablo poquito del Tropa Verde.
Sí, bueno, era una presentación, bueno, del tema de oportunidades también de la economía circular y todo esto. Entonces, un poco presentación de todo lo que hacemos. Un poco la idea. Y eso.
Yo pude conectarme ayer al principio, solo vi ahí un poco la primera parte, luego no he podido quedarme, pero...
Decía Miguel que es una pena y lo de que no podamos hacer el cierre del proyecto en condiciones.
Ya.
Esther está sola, ¿no? Entonces, ¿no
sí.
tienes alguna zona? Pues mejor, más fácil. Lo controlas tú. Había que añadir al cronómetro un sistema de descarga eléctrica.
Ahora, una descarga a las -15, otra a las 10.
Yo leo a Joana que está aprovechando, escuchándonos para practicar su español también. Pues no te cortes, Joana, te quedan 0 segundos para...
Bueno, pita, ¿eh?
Está guay, está guay.
Voy a quitar ya.
Okay. So we've had this nice chrono, but as before, please, if you can switch on your cameras at least at the beginning to make sure that people are somehow back. I'll give 1 additional minute to this, and in the meanwhile, so I'll introduce again Esther. I've already done it before, but she was not there. So as mentioned, she Esther Vinuela from Reina Sofia School of Music from Madrid, which is one of the most prestigious conservatory in terms of classical music. I would say worldwide. They've got students from all across the world. And she particularly leads some programs within some masters linked to entrepreneurship issues and spirits for musicians. which is quite a challenge with classical musicians. I know it quite well, as we also share experiences in some Erasmus projects together. And I think I can give you the floor, Esther, so that you can introduce your project, or the project from your students, better say.
Thank you, Ivan. Well, as Ivan just he introduced the school very well and the entrepreneurship program. Just a few words about the school. As he said, it's one of the most prestigious schools in Europe. We have a very personalized treatment with the students. We have around 150 students from 35 countries. So it's very international and we work our intercultural abilities continuously, as in the European projects as this. And among this school, we have the entrepreneurship program, in which we try to train abilities beyond performance, right? So last year, I had this group of 3 students, Ana Ferraz, Joao Paiva, and Pablo Tirado, 2 clarinetists and 1 flutist, in which they were worried about how can we, from the music, from classical music, how can we change the world, right? How can we perform an impact on these challenges that we are all facing, that is climate change. So they designed an interdisciplinary show, and the objective for them was to raise the awareness of the community about the need to take care of our environment. So there is on the stage, music and dancers, they gather together to tell a story about, as a non-figurative story, it's more abstract. And they also commissioned, for the end of the show, they commissioned a work with the title Recycled Fantasy, that was composed from a very young composer, Daniel Blázquez, from Madrid. And that's it. But I think that it's much better to see the video. I think Carmen is going to launch it, because the students talk themselves about the project, and you can perceive better. The sound is not working.
Don't have the sound, Carmen. Actually, the funny thing about these issues, we've tested everything 2 days ago. I mean, it works.
Nuestro proyecto, The Sound of Recycling, nació por las jornadas de emprendimiento. El año pasado, cuando vino Dudamel, soltaba constantemente que la música va más allá de algo meramente artístico, y teníamos claro que queríamos hacer algo relacionado con el medio ambiente. Intentar concienciar a la gente del hecho de reciclar o de tratar mejor a nuestro mundo.
Con un espectáculo de ideas no figurativas y además con un repertorio impresionista, llegar a enseñar que de verdad esto es un problema real que está pasando y cómo podemos cambiarlo. Tenemos la música, la danza, para contar una historia. Los músicos, por ejemplo, somos el tiempo. Cada una de las bailarinas es la tierra, el agua y la contaminación.
Había muchas ideas que se nos iban ocurriendo con el tipo de coreografía que queríamos hacer, las transiciones, introducción de elementos como el plástico que utilizamos para simbolizar la contaminación.
Cada vez van a ser más los proyectos que se decanten por este tipo de fines sociales, más que meramente cuestión artística, e intentar que la música sea un vehículo. Creo que será importante en el siglo XXI hacer reflexionar más a la gente de nuestra actualidad.
Para nosotras el aprendizaje más valioso ha sido saber articular la música y la danza. La idea era que ninguna sobresaliese sobre la otra, sino que estuviesen en sintonía.
Hemos podido desarrollar un proyecto.
Dejar de ser músico y pensar a ser más emprendedor.
Hemos ganado herramientas.
Nos ha enseñado a ser mucho más organizados y a ver que la música no es simplemente llegar e interpretar,
Con este proyecto la verdad es que me he dado cuenta de que hay muchas más salidas. No siempre nos tenemos que decantar por lo que medianamente ya está escrito, que puedes escribir tú el futuro que quieres.
Well, so this is with the voices of the students, how they wanted to tackle the challenge. What was they had to, of course, to bring their creativity to work and to imagine new ways of raising awareness about the problem. And but now I think is if you may, I would like to show you also a little piece from the concert, and maybe afterwards, if you want, you can ask me anything about it. I don't hear it. It's only me.
Seems low, yeah. Carmen, we don't hear it well. I think, or we hear it very, very low. I kind of guess it.
Do you want me to try to share it from my computer? I don't know.
Yes, Esther, because I have the video on the maximum level of sound. So.
Okay, of course. If you allow me to share screen,
Yes,
I'll
yes,
do it
yes,
right away. Okay, just a moment.
Sorry about this. As I said, we tested everything on Monday. Everything was working well.
Yeah.
And
well,
today, same with my presentation. Good.
Please tell me if you well, at the beginning you will not hear, but listen. But now.
Yes, perfectly.
Yes, it's
Enjoy
better
the concert.
than mine.
Well, this was in the middle of the concert. Of course, the concert was like for 45 minutes, something like that. Who knows who's the bad guy here? Did you guess who's the plastic? Who's the pollution? Who's the character? Well, I guess so, right? It was a girl with the pants, the trousers, and she's teasing with the earth and the ocean. That are the other two girls, right? So she's teasing them, and at the end she's like just wrapping them in this plastic and killing them, right? So this was the show that the students designed, and together with the dancers. And I don't know if you have any questions. I think that the music and the performance speaks by itself.
Thank you very much, Esther, again, and thank to your students. I think we should all clap the way you want, as this or with icons or whatsoever, to transmit it to your students and the initiatives. I don't know how people feel, but after all these months of video conferences and screens and so on, I had a kind of minutes, even if the topic is tough and hard, I had some kind of minutes of enjoying some relaxed breath, despite the plastic. I had a huge breath here, and it was very, very nice moment.
Well, this plastic is reused, don't worry, because they have performed this already twice, and whenever they finish, they take the plastic, they keep it for the next performances. So we keep using the 3 R's. No, the reusing one, that is really the good one, and the reducing one.
Well, I know you connected a bit late in the morning, so I think you didn't have the opportunity to listen to the experiences from Guimarães City Council, where among different activities they are carrying out, they have shown different campaigns and real activities to reduce plastic going to the water and to the sea. At the end, it's all interconnected. And we are all, we said it at the beginning, we are all facing, working together towards implementing circular economy and recycling activities from different responsibilities. Here, as cities are involved, we are talking a lot about the civil servants collaborating, but on the top of that, the citizens, and definitely artists and the cultural sector are going to be a key actor in the future. It's now, we know that art is now environment, better say, is now a priority in the new Creative Europe program of the European Union. So it is in the agenda for future creative sectors. So thank you again, Esther, for having joined us. I don't know if there's any question. Otherwise, maybe at the end, I think we can move. We are talking about the agenda. I think we can move to last but not least contribution from today. Axel, thank you again for joining us. I know you have a tough role now as the last one to keep people awake. But I think after this breath we have had, I think people are motivated. I understand at some stage you might want people to join a survey that I can share the link you gave. Whenever you tell me, I can share the link.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Yvan. And I take this opportunity to thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity to share some outcomes from the recent work we did on circular economy. But a very special thanks to the previous speaker. It was really nice to see this display, and I really enjoyed it. And across the session, I heard a lot of very inspiring examples as well from different cities. So it was a very refreshing start of the day. So thank you very much for that. And now I'm really delighted to intervene, and you trust me to keep people awake until the end, and I accept this challenge. Let's see how we will manage to go through that. My presentation today will focus on the Urban Agenda Partnership on Circular Economy. But I would like maybe to broaden a bit the scope and discuss about the perspectives that we have. And the common thread for my presentation today will be the governance and the integrated approach, which is a very important point for circular economy. So my name is Axel Griffon. I'm a coordinator. I work at the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, which is a very difficult acronym to remember. But basically, we are a European association working, representing cities and regions. Our we have about 60 members, and they are national associations of cities and regions. And I put on the screen our members in the countries where the member of the projects are. So maybe it rings a bell for you. I just want to say about CMR that we are not only working on circular economy, not at all, but we are working on different topics: democracy, public procurement, territorial cohesion, international cooperation, and so on and so forth. But me, I focus more on environment and circular economy. What we do at CMR, we have two main pillars. We influence EU legislation. We do some advocacy to make sure that the interests of cities and regions are taken into account by the European Commission. And we provide a place for members to exchange. and to share good practices, to discuss about issues. So now I'm moving to the part on circular economy. As you know, the circular economy is a very territorial policy. So I put here this little illustration of circular economy that I like a lot. There are many graphs with very scientific loops and colors and so on, but I think this one is very clear, and anybody, actually even my son of 5 years old, which is 5 years old, could understand what is a circular economy thanks to this nice illustration. So I think we are all very aware of what is circular economy. As you know, it means keeping the waste in the loop and avoid a linear economy where the waste is where we get rid of the waste at the end of the process. So why is it relevant for municipalities? Actually, municipalities and regions can carry on a lot of actions to close this loop. They are able to purchase products or solutions that are resource efficient and sustainable through their public procurement. They can buy repairable, reusable, recyclable goods. They can purchase local food for the canteens. They can use recyclable construction materials and so forth and so on. Secondly, they can also influence consumption patterns among their citizens. They can promote composting, they can install repair cafe and lead education campaign. They have also a key role in improving waste collection and recycling. For example, in Oslo, they are using biological treatment of waste to produce biofuel for buses. And they also bring stakeholders together. And this is where the governance is important. They really enhance this cooperation between the different stakeholders, private sector. They can promote industrial symbiosis. And when I heard about Tropa Verde, I was really struck by the fact that you are actually touching quite about all of these different local action with this project. It's awareness raising, it's improving waste collection, also promoting local initiatives and bringing different stakeholders together. So I thought it was a really nice illustration of this that I can use in my next presentations. So what we learned with our member when we discussed circular economy is that the diversity of territorial context lead to different needs and opportunities. Circular economy will not look the same in Portugal than in Sweden, for example. So, or even in Budapest. The different contexts are very important to take into account. And secondly, we see that circular economy does not only call for digital, technological innovation. Social innovation is really, really important here. Having new form of cooperation and governance between different stakeholder, administration, citizens, private sector is really a key point before starting any kind of transition to a circular economy. So now I will tell you a little bit more about I will focus on the urban agenda. The urban agenda was launched a few years ago by actually by member states starting to discuss, and they have together produced the Amsterdam Pact, where they decided to involve better cities in the whole EU process. Why? Because we know that 70% of citizens are living in cities, that the EU legislation will be implemented by cities in a great majority, about 70%. 70% also of jobs are created in cities, and the EU GDP is mainly generated in cities as well. So that makes cities very important actors. The urban agenda does not only work on circular economy. 12 partnerships have been created, and on 3 different lines. So smart cities, inclusive cities, and green cities. And you can see that circular economy is at the crossroad of the smart and green cities representation of the partnerships. And 3 main objectives have been defined as from the beginning for all the partnerships, is that the partnerships will work on better knowledge, better funding, and better regulation. So everything we will do will try to contribute to better knowledge, better funding, or better regulation. The Urban Agenda Partnership on Circular Economy was made of a wide range of stakeholders, and that's really the beauty of it. Not only cities and regions, there were 6 of them, and the leader was actually Oslo. I say was because we are coming to an end, but it's still the case. So Oslo was coordinating the partnership, but we also had The Hague with Jan Arco, who was left, but he also worked with us very, very actively in the partnership. Prato in Italy, Porto in Portugal, Kaunas in Lithuania, Flanders for the Flemish, the region in Belgium. But member states were here as well: Finland, Poland, Slovenia, and Greece. The European Commission was very well represented by 3 different DGs, and other stakeholders were also contributing to the whole process. The EIB, particularly when discussing funding issues, Eurocities and CMR, we are 2 umbrella organizations working with cities. URBACT was also part of the partnership, and Marceline also attended several meetings. And ACR Plus is also another organization, European organization working on sustainable resource management. You are probably familiar with them as well. So as you see, again, a wide range of stakeholders working all together from different levels. The timeline for the urban agenda was that in 2017, we started to identify the bottlenecks. 1 year after, we drafted an action plan with 12 actions. And in the 2 next year, in 2019 and 2020, we started to implement these actions. So now the actions are all implemented, and we are a little bit looking at the evaluation of the partnership. So here now I have the survey for you. So just in case you fell asleep, please come back to me. And in the chat, I think that Yvan has provided
just
a
included
link.
your link. Yes, I've just put it in the link, and if you click on it, you can see it. I see it. The question.
So as I said, the Urban Agenda Partnership were aiming at 3 main objectives: better regulation, better funding, and better knowledge. And I would like to know, and it will help me just to finish my presentation, according to you, which objective is the most important for cities nowadays? So, okay, I see someone managed to vote. So I can also vote myself. So for me, I think the first one is better funding, better regulation. Well, actually, it's a very hard question, but I show you how to vote, so you can also vote. I see we have almost 10 people voting. Okay, so you have a different view than me. Better knowledge comes first for you, and then better regulation and better funding. Okay, very interesting. I give you just 1 more minute to vote, and I will carry on my presentation. It's actually interesting because I'm going to show you what actions we have done, and to show you the share between the 3 different pillars. Okay, so I think you managed to access the vote. And I will include the outcome in my final presentation that I can share with you afterwards. Okay,
it's
better
changing.
funding. Yeah, it's changing a bit. Yeah. Maybe it's me. I influenced the vote, but it's interesting. So no, but you can keep voting. Don't worry. I move back to my presentation. I try. Okay.
Keep voting. Those who haven't voted yet, it's interesting to see it and to get your perspective.
Exactly, because the partnership is coming to an end. But if we are doing some outcomes, it's still good to know what is for you the most important pillar to deal with. So now you can see on the slide the final, an infographic of the China Action Plan. You can see we have 12 actions. It's a little bit small, but you can see that we have 3 for better regulation. They are here, these 3 here. Then for better funding, we had 2, these 2 here, and all the rest was better knowledge. So I think you had a very good first perception that better knowledge is a very important topic to address now. And circular economy is indeed a field where we need to develop more knowledge and to gain access to give access to this knowledge to cities. And this is why we have worked a lot on the knowledge pillar in the Urban Agenda Partnership. So I will not enter into the details of all the actions because we are all very tired, but I can maybe zoom a little bit on some of them. So for better funding, there were 2 actions. The first one, it was to discuss at the time what will the European programmation looks like after 2020. At the time, the Commission was, and the member states were preparing the next cohesion policy. So the money that will, the European money funding that will go to the cities and regions. And here we had a strong work to push for more money for circular economy. And in the end, it was already 3 years ago, so we can already look back. And we see that circular economy was included in the priorities for the fundings for the next 7 years. So it was a successful action. And now we have also provided some ideas for cities, how they can spend this money. So we have produced a paper with this, and I will give later the link to all of these materials. Then the second action was a circular city funding guide. So why we did it? Because there is a clear need for financing and advisory support for financing projects in circular economy. And this is a major challenge. So we try to elaborate some guidance with the support of the EIB, the European Investment Bank. And the aim is to bridge the gap between fund seekers and funders. So, and this guide, so you can see here, it's available online. You have the link. It's really looking at the urban dimension. So that's a tool for cities to look for funding. If I move to better regulation, we had different actions to advocate for better regulation to promote circular economy. It gets a little bit technical with a proposition for short or medium-term solutions or long-term solution, like looking at the life cycle of product, for example. But I won't get into the details. On better knowledge, we had 7 actions, and we produced some toolkits, some handbooks, knowledge pack. So it's a lot of materials that are available for cities in the different topics. So I invite you to consult them. I will send the link in the chat. We have also a portal with a lot of information available for cities on how to do circular economy. Guide on urban resource centers. We have seen the one from Oslo earlier in the presentation today. It was one of the examples that was taken in this action. And also a map to manage resource at local level. So in this, I will maybe finish with that. In this circular city portal, we have insisted a lot on the question of governance, that a city needs to really make connections between the different actors. And we propose this infographic to start this transition. So first, to reorganize your local authorities and bring people together, then stimulate citizens' initiatives, and then stimulate the cooperation with entrepreneur and innovation. So all of this ecosystem help to promote a circular economy at local level, and we provided a lot of guidance for municipalities and good practices. I think it's already 5 minutes past 1. I can maybe give you an opportunity to ask any question if you want, and Ivan, let me know.
Yes. If you want, if you feel, I think there's a huge amount of information already there, and we'll share the presentation. I think lots of not only inspiring but also practices, but guidances and toolkits and guides that can be of help for municipalities, which are the key targets here today. So I really invite all the different participants to check the different information available, either if you are looking for funding, or if you are, or as we saw from the project from Pavlos Melas, you are going to have a huge urban regeneration project or land regeneration. You've seen there are some toolkits also specifically on this issue I saw before. And I think it's good to keep 5 minutes for questions if you have any question from the partner, from all participants.
Yes, happy to hear question.
Yes.
Yeah, I see, Ivan, that you put on the chat that better implementation of the knowledge is really also something I also noticed. Better implementation is actually at the crossroad of this two. If you have better funding, better knowledge, and better regulation, it will result, it will lead to better implementation. So this is the overarching goal.
I knew, you need knowledge, you need training, it's a bit the experience what we have been doing in these URBACT projects discussed this morning, exchanging good practices and knowledge and training people behind in order to be able to better implement them. And you need fundings and you need money, definitely. And on the top of all the efforts we've been carrying out, trying to guide the Commission for the new programming period, we might also add or remind all the new recuperation funds that are being implemented or will start being implemented very soon, hopefully by each member state, where environment is again a key priority. Talking about the resiliation and recuperation fundings, where definitely there will be a huge amount of possibilities for circular economy projects, either if they are developed directly from companies or public organizations such as municipalities. So guidances and information provided by networks such as yours, and which are following the day-to-day activities and also influencing the day-to-day activities or policies in Europe are really of key importance to better implement all these activities. So I know it's late and lunchtime in some countries, in many countries. I'm based in Spain. As for the lead partner, we're used to it late, so we are not suffering right now. But I understand that. Is there any question? Take this opportunity to ask any question. I see the links. Yeah, Joanna was asking you, Axel, according to you, which is the most important? She was referring to the survey you have shared. And
yeah, Well, it's an interesting question. We can see that we have different views on this. From my point of view, knowledge is very important for this topic on circular economy. That's correct. However, from our members, we know that the funding is a is a major issue. It's still difficult for them to access to this funding. They are often there are fundings, but it's more accessible for bigger cities. And smaller size cities, they are the ones who are needing this the most, and they have a lot of difficulties to access it. So hopefully the new programming period will allow a better uptake of these projects. And regulation, of course, it's also very important, and it's not easy to change it.
Yeah, not to implement it, not to go through it. I know. Okay. What is, by the way, the final result of your survey? Can you maybe just as a conclusion, if
sure, let me share again.
By curiosity.
Wait, let's come back there.
I think it's
Voila.
Okay, 16 answers, better knowledge, better funding, better regulation, very close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And could be different for other topics, for other partnerships.
Okay. Thank you again, Axel. Yes, sorry.
Sorry. I had plans to tell you about the Green City Accord, but I think it's already late, and I would prefer maybe to it's included in my slides, so you will be able to go through it, and I can maybe include a word to you, Yvan, if you can disseminate to the participants, that would be great.
Of course, it will be our pleasure. The Green City Accord, that by the way has been signed also by Opole, I think, yes?
Yes, and Guimaraes as well.
And Guimaraes, which both are our partners in the project. So it's been a long, intensive morning, but actually I don't know how you feel. For me, it was all very interesting. So lots of information, but different ones. So personally, I enjoyed it very much. I would like to thank you all again for your participation. Of course, in particular, the speakers, but also all participants, plus the people behind who made it possible. So thanks also, of course, to our host, Carme Evar from Santiago City Council, and Christian, who has helped to disseminate and promote the activities and so on. Thank also Marceline, who has helped us as well in designing the event, always supporting us, and to all Tropa Verde's partner. There is still a lot of challenges. We I think all agree that circular economy is now definitely a priority from our cities and different departments, and there will be lots of opportunities to keep on progressing and implementing good practices in the future through URBACT and through other funding opportunities. Thanks again, Clementine and URBACT, for having offered us this opportunity. I'm not talking about today, but I'm talking about the last 2.5 years, opportunity of sharing not only knowledge, but also friendship with many people that I see here around. And for Tropa Verde partners, we unfortunately couldn't meet again physically, but I really hope we will in any near future. I'm sure we'll find opportunities. I would like, I know that I think Christian was taking pictures probably of screen captions. So all of you, please, if you can, if you can open your cameras for some kind of final pictures. And at the end, before leaving, I would like to ask Tropa Verde family, partners, TEIMAS, and so on, and ULG members to stay together with the speakers and for some final pictures before you all leave and have lunch. Thank you again, everyone. It's when we smile. So great, you're free now. Axel, thank you very much again. We'll be in touch, and we will we'll share all presentations, okay? And the event has been recorded, so it will be available on URBACT web page. As always.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
See you.
See you.
Thank you very much.
We hope
See
you come to visit me.
Bye.
Me as well, Dalila, I owe you.
Yes, Marius, I want to go there again.
I'll be waiting for you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Ivan. Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you, Dalila. We will. I know Guimarães is not that far. It's
No.
5 hours drive for me. So we'll see each other for sure.
Yes.
Over there.
Johan, your
Johan,
city was the last trip I have made to Nice.
Oh, and it was great, of course.
Very. I like very much. It was my last